with that, it's really going to be hard to broaden his base. It's going to be hard to get Democrats along at this point because the Democratic base wants nothing to do with Donald Trump, and they don't want their politicians working with him at this point.
Or David Gergen, David Gergen, do you buy Paul Begali's interesting argument and proposal? I mean, perhaps this president could do best by being of neither party, by being like the Bernie Sanders who said, I'm not a Democrat, I'm an independent. Could he do well looking forward to say, I am not tied to any of these folks. Here's what I'm going to do for you, the people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He had the opportunity, which I think he's kicking away, to become a very different kind of president. Someone, let's remember when Bill Clinton, and Paul will remember this, Bill Clinton succeeded because he embraced what was called the third way. He wanted to take the best from the Democratic Party and the best from the Republican Party, and he built the middle, and it helped him govern. I think there's a very practical point Dan's making here about, look, this kind of speech makes it really hard for someone in the Senate who's a Democrat or in the House to vote with Donald Trump, because they're going to get killed from their own party. And if he's declaring total war on the other party and not reaching out, just as a practical matter, it's the legislation he needs to pass is going to need Democratic votes, and he is going to have a really hard time getting them with this kind of rhetoric.
But can I say, I mean, for the whole time on this campaign, whenever he would do something outrageous, people will say, oh, he'll learn, we'll come back, he'll change. This is 100 days in. He is not changing. When are we going to learn this?
But he is bringing folks in from the other camp. I think
he's not.
Sure he is.
Who is he bringing in?
He's brought in.
Name one.
Well, he's brought in a lot of the Republicans he bashed.
Okay.
Right off the start.
Andre Baier, the other camp isn't always defined as Republicans in a Republican administration.
But Donald Trump is really almost an independent. I mean, he is. So he's got to work with his own party too, and he's got a lot of dissension there as well that he started out with of folks that don't think like he does and are hardened to certain ideas, and so he's having to work with them too. But he has invited Democrats over to dinner and try to break bread and grow the tent and work with them.
Remember the positive not well different guys, if you're here,
All right, on day 100 of the Trump administration, we are moments away from the headline comedian at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. This is the president has just wrapped up his big, almost hour-long rally in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We want you to watch this as we wait.
There's a lot to celebrate because journalism is such an important part of the freedom to enjoy.
I hope you do. As I say, Sometimes you don't like the decisions I make, and sometimes I don't like the way you write about the decisions. But nevertheless, it's a really important part of our process.
But you're not supposed to be sycophants, you're supposed to be skeptics, you're supposed to ask me tough questions. You're not supposed to be complimentary, but you're supposed to cast a critical eye on folks who hold enormous power.
To young journalists who represent the next generation of our profession.
My name is Angel Brock. I am a 2016 Penn State graduate from the College of Communications. The tuition is very, very high. My mom was saying, Penn State's a great school, but I don't know if we can afford it. It was nearly $30,000 in scholarships from WHCA. And 5, 4, 3, 2. And that just gave me the drive and the push to keep pushing to go up from here.
You're gonna do healthcare and taxes? It'll happen. We'll see what happens.
The WHCA fights hard every day for the ability of journalists to ask questions, to witness the president in action, and to report robustly on what they see. We will continue to do that, regardless of who is in office and regardless of which party controls the White House. That's our job.
Yes, there can be grateful.
There are changes that are coming that we don't even know about. But here's one thing that doesn't change. Facts, the First Amendment, truth, respect, and civility. All of those things are constants that we should be able to agree on.
That's a keeper.
Thank you to WHCA board member Alicia Jennings and her team at NBC for putting together that terrific video. The tradition of the White House Correspondents' Dinner is a long one. Journalists, presidents, cabinet members, lawmakers, and diplomats have shown up for decades and demonstrated that even though we have vastly different roles, government officials and reporters can come together for one night. Tonight looks a little different. We are here to celebrate good journalism. We are here to celebrate the press, not the presidency. And I am happy to report, for anyone who's interested, that this dinner is sold out. But what we celebrate tonight is bigger than a dinner. This may get a lot of attention every year, but the work journalists do every day is what is important. And as people in this room know, but perhaps some in the American public do not, the White House Correspondents Association works every day to stand up for freedom, for press freedom, and advocate for journalists' ability to do their jobs. We do that with every White House, regardless of who's president and regardless of whether he's a Democrat or a Republican. President Trump's White House is no different. We have worked very hard to build a constructive relationship with his press team, and there are clear dividends from those efforts. The press is still in the White House briefing room, and we are still on Air Force One. In fact, press access under President Trump has been very good. With President Trump very good. press freedom state. We may I don't know. Carl isn't under President Trump has been very good. With all of the tension in the relationship, that aspect is often overlooked. We have had several press conferences, repeated opportunities to see that there are threats to press freedoms here in the United States. We must remain vigilant. The world is watching. Thankfully, we are not alone. The outpouring of support for the WHCA has been heartwarming. And having journalists Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein here tonight is an outstanding symbol of that support. Thank you, Bob, Carl, Elsa, and Christine for joining us. Just as Woodward and Bernstein inspired generations of journalists, we hope the work the White House Press Corps is doing will inspire our successors. And we are delighted to support the next generation of journalists with our scholarship program, which we are raising money for tonight. As the video so beautifully showed, scholarships matter. And having spent some time already with this year's group of scholars, I can tell you the future of our profession is in good hands.
Defense of press freedom, standing up for the role that White House correspondents and journalists across this country play, the important role that they play now and will going forward. Again, we're watching the White House Correspondents' Center. We're waiting to hear from the comedian Hassan Minhaj, who will speak very, very shortly. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Last year, he said he was going to dig a hole to China.
AT&T is working with farmers to improve irrigation techniques.
Congratulations. Please stand.
Visit to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Hey, look, I wasn't looking.
People who feel like they've been unheard for some.
It's for the person
and soul of this organization.
Special shout out to Olivier and Margaret, to those in this room who have been so supportive. It is a privilege.
Standing here with Carlson inside someone's apartment, that he would lose them and undermine the duty as journalists. They are
yeah. Trump golfing, tweeting at 3. The feeling he's sitting in a room full of people here. I would ask her the question. Nate Silver told me that joke would kill. Since 19. Can you blame him? You gave now
their 90-day.
Jeff showed up first.
How open
Is in here. It's a fun place.
even deeper than the dive bar.
Exactly. But it's really not that.
No longer resembles its neo.
Found in over 90% of Fortune.
Closed captioning brought to you by.
I was working. I loved it.
How long have you been in Nashville?
Loved it. I thought it was beautiful. 4 years, maybe.
Make the future more secure. He was forced to sell. He was aged. Face planted a big.
New Flonase Sensiment SUV. You must. 7 digestive support with a Line June.
What?
Ready?
Knows how it feels to see your number and symptoms of allergic reaction.
That guy was wearing a tutu.
I did do a show here before. Discover the ferocious intellect, an irony-free zone where I'm looking at my hash brown.
I wanted to be swimming in syrup. What are the more complex sauces?
The average Mile IQ subscriber
accepted for who you are. The bacon-wrapped foot-long corn dog. Why should Northerners? That's the best American ham I've ever had. Okay.
And then we make a grilled whiting, which is what nobody eats.
You guys are both into road?
No.
You're a brave man, Mr. Stevens.
It's always used. I do something as sweet seeds that Glenn is now able to
Play. Then easily select the best candidate to charge.
I won this.
This is the standard.
Sweetest animal on camera are about to see you guys like who are basically forever.
IHOP. Eat up every moment.
And linked to ovarian cancer.
In the world. In the narrow range available on the.
Oh, man.
I'm Taylor. Download the app.
Get everything you need to tell the story.
Carciofi alla romana, prosciutto.
They were always, even if there were. Her father.
Something like that from him.
Buy new Flonase Sensimist and
If you take certain medicines.
call 1-800-831.
Negli anni 60 c'era
Tripe, some nice
100 years. Then you see the veins and such.
acid at the source.
Connect.
5. There has been an excess of a
Living steady here.
Yeah, okay, good. Really?
Manufacturers choose the brand.
The real rum.
Complicated behind.
When Tim's ready, he can take it.
That I'm black.
Does it make you
Thank you for bringing me here.
Days you have where is being flooded with demand. oh, you know, crisis.
Take care of the citizens.
They purchases on the go.
Time is very diverse.
Vacation rentals? Search home.
Then you're a couple.
Proud to be creating an
left promised to
highly educated officer. How
but I will American Dream Machines. This industry.
Go to stamps.com/
turn them upside down.
355-1936.
For 15 years,
can maybe make money selling.
Yeah, that's a pretty good reason.
and
10 years ago, I invented
9 a.m. here on this Sunday morning.
correspondence dinner.
Trump said they expected a nuclear test, a significant response from the U.S.
Severe storms.
gentle suction to remove allergens.
No. Be down from a third at their high
NATO alliance.
There were over
Guaranteed, because you know you
yet come to pass. But
hasn't been great governing.
inhibitor that works to lower.
MyPillow.com. Michael
zingers kept coming. And Test that President Trump talked about, then because they feel that these weapons.
It fuels it, making
matter. In Trump's first 100.
After today, what?
Installation.
800. Often. Buyunequal.com.
An American who say he's majorly changed the pace with Martin Savage on the field. Deadly. Our Patrick.
Oil were surged to 60 or 80.
nearly 4.
In the past, the Turkish government out.
Bergen talked about, and it is
actually in Pennsylvania was such
Evidence. So to what degree is this
showing, hey, I had a hear a lot of cheering there. Bill, how that beast you're looking at right
like this architect.
protest President Trump's climate policy?
You got the side. Beautiful.
Who is a very respected man.
They will conduct another nuclear behavior. But the big difference with China.
Thanks.
Leaders. Integrity and attention to detail.
All of her favorites were there.
Kids, yes, kids are taking.
Two Oregon ranchers.
At Jared, we turned
around. Check this out, Joshua.
That I will be president for all
Americans, not just one particular.
It has sort of upside down.
Well, I think we.
Now, time to turn around.
Under your employment to do.
I don't think since we've seen a comic that good.
Have you ever looked for a hotel?
Don't be fooled by her.
We're glad you were there. Yes, I'm Christy Paul.
I'm
Military action.
We heard in that CBS interview
With 30,000 U.S. troops.
They urging President Trump.
My doctor prescribed opioid. What if you could love business miles so you get a great of hearing, vision, or an allergic reaction?
This can be so devastating because
This one was one.
barrier eye.
Breakthroughs every day to help end.
details on some of these key proposals, and we'll see how that plays.
We'll build the wall damaged than before.
You never know exactly where he's going to go.
Our past impossible.
You're a brave man, Mr. Steve.
But it's can we have China has to offer something.
You know, his education. North Korea is
Finally. He's a NASCAR champion. Serious and in rare cases fatal.
Doctor about Xarelto. There's more.
With Liberty Mutual's 24-hour.
Pumped with candidates, but media deserves a
Is there any?
Your testimony will say.
That's 1-800-891-54.
You'll get a straightforward bill that's
as part of his first trip abroad.
She's
been
Done.
Imagine something new.
.com today.
Never.
every statement. But think about that.
Democratic Party, but that.
This is safe.
That the Republicans didn't have a health care bill.
Prosecutors, he could do things that really.
That's going to get done.
I'm going to tell you this. Look,
Panera, a good salad is more than just one flavor.
Do not take Brio more than prescribed.
And you're proud to have received the.
Go from here. The panel's back with me.
He spent 20% of the first. Where is his heart when he is who are fleeing their country?
Poverty. If he were to do a poverty,
Would say, I'd like to make a policy.
Two high pro.
Thinking in reality.
30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It all with Canada's foreign minister expected to know the facts about them. Remain understaffed. Costs should plummet. Wrong. And if he did do, he was of course President Obama.
North Korea is obviously one of the, on the one hand, a message
election was that
on the intelligence. Unpredictability may be useful.
CNN that the White House was
on the softwood lumber display in all of the previous
And Tesla's prescribing and
create. See, you need a loan, you put on a suit.
Do you have an idea for an adventure?
But our best clients at KPMG
ahead of the next 200
Really, a little.
On a hybrid car, the Scion.
Schwab,
People who have been diagnosed. The following message is
conventional Republican. He appointed
about the inability of should they change the control of Congress
abroad. Richard Haas
moving ahead with ideas, black and white.
a series of images.
Trump and journalists going forward.
Stay there. Well, America.
Both Trump's and the media.
An attitude, regardless of what there's not to be called on line and president.
Predict, I will probably pay more. What does President Trump do? Is it, do you really use
simple and can every day?
And hey, unmanaged to
call a joint session.
Yeah, my dad says they're insuring.
The Times apologized. Portrait of us is just not acting up. To be frank, I think that's bad, less legitimate, and less subtweeting him, complaining about.
There are spots that are hard to.
When did anyone
when it isn't. Opioid induced. Tell your doctor about any side effects.
And things like wire fraud and mail fraud.
Ales.
Fox and Friends, the morning show.
Fox News prime time show. I change who we are.
And
Pro.com.
Start saving.
to the source so it.
Call 1-800-831. There's your values. Welcome to City.
Says the gig is hard.
Could not possibly.
It's about man-made contributions to climate change. So, will pay for the Let me read to you what House Democrat, his bottom line
is my friends in the
White House Correspondents Association dinner last night. And of course, the president. Nor am I a celebrity.
Beloved by a nation and blood. And
Republicans should have set him up for a win.
Out there, the Democrats should be embracing
lower costs. You're going to have lower premiums.
Of that 100, because each of them
helped us build the resistance up, is getting the benefit of the doubt from the Trump base.
Take a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Got that garden bar.
Dealer, Mercedes-Benz. The blood clots from happening again. Bleeding if you take certain medicines.
In uncommon times.
What is this?
call the number on your screen.
Trusted name in news.
The idea that he thought this,
I think
really insightful quote from an.
He should not be the first president that has to be
a tour like that, where they really are making sure that he says he's in a. We're not in power.
We got to go. Thank you, Juan.
I thought I married an Italian.
DXC is listed
On the phone and get with the program.
Really happened in Roswell.
This is next. See you next time.
Blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes, lightheaded or weak upon.
I gotta tell you, every day.
Too pretty to eat, but believe me, I'm going Mother's Day guaranteed, or your money.
Answer: the White House's. But first, here's my take. I hope of his supporters flops. It turns out that a major military.
Obviously, one of the very toughest and most Security Council on Friday that you quoted from
was that
I've addressed this with respect to the intelligence I received. Agency and responsibly, thoroughly, and a number of our closest friends and allies. We've also had very mixed signals sent.
Every time.
TrueCar shows you what other.
Do not take Repatha if you.
United States. Now, on this one.
How do you say delicious in Arabic?
This is not too.
General John W. Nick, 100 Americans have lost their lives, almost 100 years ago, and the Barnett Rubin writes in a recent essay, with its neighbors, more ammunition.
Very nice. And make you care.
And how.
Introducing Better. The secret is Better Brella's smart standard umbrellas sell for more than all now and will instantly upgrade.
Order your Better umbrella. Call 1-800.
Year after a year of the bestseller on turn.
We're in an era of congressional government.
Of some of the more just keep doing this, and so they
had without experience in political.
Discover the new Buick and get 16.
Hello.
Business. Step 1. Point to.
Does for all
in power. What I'm looking
to, when you look at this from
Or visit.
Yeah.
I don't think so, Jake, but
touches on everything from help.
China, President Xi.
Happy military action.
Really, have no power. A lot of people, I'm sure, tried to take.
Let's discuss all of this with our panel. Strategy on how to deal with.
I'm not sure it's a full.
Are you seeing any signs?
That you or others. This is not Nixon and China. That's true.
Okay. Get right. 67.
Obamacare, you have a lot of moderates on Meet the Press on NBC. Vice President criticized on Capitol Hill, talking specific. It is actually weekends.
Julian Zelizer is a professor.
I'm playing that as a priority campaign, and that is a federal.
And Congressman Moreno.
And
conservative wing of the party that wants to do away benefits is going to be political.
And I'm Hispanic.
Hi.
Hi.
Call 1-800-8
Control.
It's your glass.
I'm off.
No, I'm scheduled. This, and at least 4 people were killed.
After this, after the series.
You're getting slammed by what they're called.
2 dozen people who were
skip the waiting and go completely on.
In the ISIS and Iraq, where American troops are
to Iraq.
Maintain vigilance.
Without return, infect his bone and muscle ache.
17 Buick Envision.
This is delicious.
I'm Mom. Hello.
Jokes. I love fun of MS.
Affordable. What's unaffordable is
to support this
predictable dictator of that rogue nation. Daily Beast and author.
North Korea. Why choose this moment to
pay for it? So I have only grown cooler.